Welcome to the Agents of the Roundtable Wiki Community AMA. Every Monday, we discuss Secret Network and its applications with guests from all around the network. This is an audio recording of the AMA. We hope you enjoy.
Okay, welcome to Serenity Shield. This is Agents of the Roundtable podcast and Secret Spaces. We'll be recording this one and uploading it onto YouTube later on. Yeah, guys, do you want to give us a brief introduction to yourselves and the project?
Sure. I guess I'll take this first. My name's Justin, and I've got a background in small business ownership and management, and I've been in the crypto space since 2017. Mostly as someone on the sidelines that was addicted to losing money, but slowly but surely I was able to find my way to a project in a company that was worth investing my time and effort in, and that took the form in Serenity Shield. And I'm just honored to be here today talking to you all about the solution we're bringing to the market that can help everyday investors or holders or whatever you want to call yourself maintain privacy, achieve security and digital rights in this space as we move toward Web3.
Hi guys, my name is Nikos. Like Justin, I've been in the space since about 2017. I have a background initially getting started in trading, going back about 10 years ago now, in the Forex space. And natural progression took me towards blockchain and crypto and all things trading. And in that space of time, I've now sort of morphed that skill set and now became more about fundamental analysis. I worked on a couple of other projects, initially as a community manager, moderator, and then as an advisor to another project. And that led me on to being one of the first guys to join the Serenity Shield team about a year ago. And we're looking forward to telling you guys about what got us started, where we've been, where we're going, and why for us all things related to Web3, privacy, and blockchain is at the forefront of our minds, and why we're very excited to be working in this blockchain environment at this given time.
Thank you very much. We're super excited to have you here as well. So for those in the call that are secret agents, we're actually running an MVP test of Serenity Shield at the moment with the secret agents, and it's going pretty well. The feedback that we've got from them has been fantastic. So
yeah, we really do appreciate everybody's time and effort in the testing. It's also been humbling and kind of scary cool to see how many people are tuned into what we're doing at this early of a stage. And, we're new, obviously, to the space since January, so it's going to take time to build our community. But I believe the community that we're building alongside communities like Secret and who we can utilize from the secret agents is going to make a really quality, safe space for people to interact in a way that they don't feel like pressured or like they're chasing the next rug pull or anything like that. I mean, personally, I found something like the community that we're building allows me to actually sit back, breathe, and take some space and learn from others, which is super refreshing and awesome. So I appreciate everybody who's been in our Discord and in our Telegram and, commenting on our posts on Twitter and really helping open our eyes to, new sectors of the blockchain that we didn't know existed because we're students ourselves. We learn every day. So thank you.
Awesome. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the use cases of Serenity Shield? What makes it unique from its kind of traditional competitors, and what problems does it solve?
Definitely. So the problem that we're here to solve is basically privacy and putting an end to rampant data sharing and selling of traditional corporations and centralized entities in like the more commercial space that exists in the normal business world. The Serenity Shield product came about because the people that are developing it wanted to use it ourselves. We wanted to be able to exercise self-sovereignty and agency and autonomy over our own data, control where that went, what eyes saw it, and actually have the ability to interact with blockchain for a true data storage solution that didn't actually mean that we had to pass over any of our rights to somebody else to make decisions for us. So in terms of where we differ, I would say that in the full embracement of Web3 and coming to the table, knowing that we don't know everything in the world and that we're seeking to partner with people that know more than we do in certain regards, and also be open to sharing our information and being very open about any kind of knowledge that we come upon ourselves. We really want to lead with empathy and education. And that can mean a bunch of things in terms of like, helping people that come to our Discord or our Telegram to ask a question about something they don't understand. We're never going to treat anybody like they're stupid, because we've all been there. And like I was saying at the top of this, we created this program to solve a problem for ourselves that the rest of participants in blockchain can also use. So our whole entire ecosystem and ethos is based on inclusion. We want all of the best ideas from the most brilliant minds to come together and feel like they can actually interact in a way that's civil, and create a space that isn't just a bunch of screaming and shilling. And so really the most important aspect to all of this is our ability to share in our questioning, share in our fact finding, support each other while we build a better space for everyone to exist, because we're all here for mostly the same reason, right? Like, it's adoption of blockchain and a tech that no one really knows exactly where it's going, but it's super exciting to be here together. And when you have the power to build things among communities in a decentralized way, there's no one true voice that's governing any of that. So every single voice has the exact same amount of weight to it. And that is something that you don't see in the traditional world. And another thing that I really want to talk about in terms of differentiating us from traditional competitors is the idea of distributed and decentralized ownership. And when you really look at like our team today, we're pretty small but mighty. And I say mighty because we all come from different backgrounds. We do have a lot of experience in blockchain spaces, especially on our development side, which is about 12 different dedicated experienced developers cracking away at our products every single day. But we also have people with expertise in education, in marketing, in business ownership, in operations, so that we know that we can build a system that's sustainable, right? We didn't come here to say, we're a paper project and a promise. Give us all your money. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We came here to say, we have a solution that we believe we can solve with a piece of blockchain tech. We'd like for you to be involved in it. And we've gone and released our MVP before we've been listed on an exchange or opened up for public sale or anything like that. We know that we need a product so that we can continue to deliver top tier services to our users. And our movement has no single face. Rather, everyone on the Serenity Shield team remains committed to pushing the ideas of privacy, security, and digital rights, because a future where centralized corporations can come in and pervert the blockchain space is one that we find completely unacceptable. And we definitely see it as a responsibility to our part in the Web3 movement to remain agile and be accepting of a transforming landscape where no one has a louder or more correct voice. Like I was saying before, the idea of governance and pushing towards a DAO is like a really wonderful thing that we can talk about later on this call. But that is always, something that we're pushing towards, because the very best ideas come forward for implementation when everybody is given equal say in the possibilities of what can happen. And that all, again, comes back to community building. And so I promise that's all I have to say about that. I'm sorry I get going. I'm so passionate about this stuff. And, I actually kind of liked the technical difficulty at the top of the call, because I get so amped up before I get on these things that I almost can't even see straight. So that allowed me to be like, okay, take a second. It's going to be fine. So
it's all good. I guess the adrenaline is now flowing, and we can start diving into the deep end, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's really clear to me that the vision that Serenity has for data sovereignty, but also you own your own data, but also you only have access to your data. But you do want to make sure that if there ever happens something to you, or you want to retrieve your keys or you want to retrieve your sensitive data, that there is something to work with that. So I personally was really I got really enthusiastic by the StrongBox app which Serenity is making. So I thought it would be cool to dive a little bit into how Serenity is actually using Secret Network and how it's using privacy as a service to enable these applications. So maybe you can talk a little bit about what StrongBox app is and how you use Secret Network to store the sensitive data on Serenity Shield.
Absolutely, yeah. And that is a great point. The reason we decided to build on Secret was we wanted privacy by design, not privacy as a feature, right? Because everybody, I mean, you think about all the things you do. Let me just take it back to this. When I was younger and I first got on the internet, my parents were like, don't use your name, don't use a credit card, all this stuff. We're like, you're just old. No, I'm going to do whatever I want. I wish I listened to them. There's such a weird trail that everybody has left in their wake in terms of Web 2.0 and how much money we've made for companies that have sold our data for targeted ads back to us that we're not even aware that we actually had any part in implementing, right? And that's a freaking dystopia right there. That's terrifying. So I've drank the Kool-Aid for privacy and I'm here. And that's why we chose Secret, was to build on an ecosystem or on top of a set of tools that are already proven that it's data privacy by design and not as a secondary feature or something for someone to tout as, a hashtag on Twitter. We want people to be able to have end-to-end encryption. We want people to only know what they store, because really it's worth mentioning that at no point at all does Serenity ever have any idea what anybody is using their StrongBox for. And that's exactly the point. Like, we want that to happen. So when you come on our app to create a StrongBox, you can use, right now, we have it open to be MetaMask for BSC. But, I should mention too, it's MVP. So nothing's actually being created because it's all like beta and testnet. But you can use BSC for MetaMask, Solana through Phantom Wallet. And we also have an integration with Kepler, because we actually use Kepler to pay the fees in Secret to create the smart contracts that encrypt the data that you put on chain. So basically, that's how we're using it. We're using Secret Network to keep every bit of sensitive information secret from any single person that would ever try to see it. And not that Serenity would have any interest in trying to see that, because we don't. But even if somebody on the team decided to be a bad actor, there's no way for them to gain access to anything that you decide to store, which is wonderful. I mean, I myself can't wait to create strong boxes like crazy. I'm like the biggest fanboy for it right now, just waiting for it to pop so that I can actually use it. But yeah.
Yeah, Justin, I think just to come in on the back of that as well, I mean, the pertinent aspect of all of this is privacy that we always talk about. But I mean, being here from day one and remembering the journey that we've been on,
yeah,
I think it's very important that we look back as to why Serenity Shield opted for Secret Network in the first place, and how it actually came about, and the reason that we kind of decided that was going to be the path we wanted to go down. I mean, for anyone that's not aware, the idea that we had was born out of a desire to solve this crypto heritage problem that many people will certainly be aware of. We've all heard the stories in the media of heartache and emotional stress that people have been suffering. And even if you have a look at our white paper, you'll find in there's a little bit about the industry itself and the loss that we've seen in the last couple of years, up to, I think, the tune of $14 billion for a variety of reasons. Some of it through lost seed phrases, which is a much more careless reason, but unfortunately one that does happen. But more tragically, the heritage thing came about because we realised that there was people passing on, which is it's one of those things that people don't want to talk about, but it's something inevitably that happens. And those people were passing on with no digital succession plan in place in the first place. So their digital crypto assets, fundamentally, you could say they became useless and they don't have a purpose any longer, and they're locked away forever. And for us, being big fans of where blockchain is going and understanding the utility that's on offer, it seemed like a bit of a waste, and it seems like really just no one benefits there whatsoever. Not to mention the actual financial loss that families and individuals have unfortunately succumbed to as a result. That led us to create the Serenity Shield concept and explore the ways blockchain could take advantage of all this emerging Web3 tech and all the various solutions. And looking at all the various blockchains on offer and all the layer ones, we came across Secret Network through a recommendation of someone close to a project. And as most people here will be aware, a lot of the people that are part of this community are very aware that blockchain, by its very nature, is public, for the most part anyway, certainly unlike Secret Network. And that led us to this idea that we could explore having the solution with a layer of privacy built in. We really wanted to exercise this notion that you, and as Justin has said, you and you alone should own your data. And you don't want to ever have to be concerned that your information is going to be used or sold or even abused by other people. And that was a big thing that resonated for us when we came across Secret Network. And I think when you look at the fact that our StrongBox relies heavily on smart contracts and the release of confidential user data when your preset conditions are met or your parameters have been triggered, then really opting for a kind of reputable privacy focused layer one blockchain is really at the heart of why we chose Secret Network. To build on Secret Network has made us also realise our other key utility, which was that seed phrase storage and recovery for personal use, which was never the original intention of the StrongBox of going back a year ago. The whole point was a crypto heritage problem, and a byproduct of building on Secret then it opened up doors for us to then explore new avenues. And again, it shows you the kind of diverse and dynamic aspect of blockchain and what we can do with it. So that privacy by design utility has now given us a way of solving two obvious blockchain problems by using a blockchain solution. And you'll hear us say that quite often, the blockchain problem solved with a blockchain solution, but it truly is that obvious that what we're doing is using blockchain for the reasons it was intended, to solve real world issues. And at the same time, it gives us a chance to empower our users and give them something above all else that we are really proud of, and it ties in with our philosophy of digital rights. Above all, it gives users a choice. And that is the thing that is lacking in this space, and really just in life in general these days. There's a monopoly in so many things, but giving the user the choice, and that is what's the foundation of our principle and everything we wanted to do in the space, to take back something of our own and make decisions for ourselves, because that is ultimately what self-sovereignty is. And we're not here saying that we're going to solve the whole issue of privacy or data storage. But what we are doing is providing our users with one tool as part of a whole suite. And that's where all of these other great projects in the space, which we'll probably talk about later on, are doing so much. The partnering up and doing things in conjunction with these guys is just one small piece of a bigger jigsaw. So that's really where we see it.
Yeah, I think the most interesting, which you just have been talking about, is that it is true that there are always some problems with using new technology, and the way that Serenity and the StrongBox app is trying to solve, like you said, a blockchain problem, still using blockchain technology, is really something interesting to me. You don't have to fight some of the Web3 problems with Web2 experiences. There is a way to make it a full stack solution. So that's really cool to see.
Yeah, and to expand on that slightly, there's something that's really important to us as a company, as moving forward. The way we never want to seem like we're entering a community just to appropriate their ideas, feed it back to them, and then like moon the token and leave. In the same exact regard, what you just said about the realization too that we're using blockchain to solve a blockchain problem without worrying about layering different fractured Web 2.0 air quotes solutions on top of each other, is that we're actually able to operate in the space and use the tools available to us in the space as the space was intended and as the tech was intended to be used. So it's really like an appreciation for what blockchain offers and a return to the roots of what the entire purpose of this technology was when it was first created. And for me personally, that's like a huge move that's the freaking movement right there. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning. I mean, you can hear it in my voice. I'm like spinning around in my chair and ready to start screaming in my house. Like I'm so excited and honored that this point in time even exists, and I'm here talking to you about this right now. And really, I think we all kind of got to sit back and look at it and say, like, this is like what people probably felt like with the .com boom at the beginning of the internet, right? Like this is really real, and it's every day changing, and it's super challenging, and there's a lot that nobody knows, but like that's the beauty of it, because none of us want to get up every day and go sit at a desk job and waste our life, right? So anyway,
you need to, in the end, you create true happiness, I guess, when you create a project you know everyone needs, and you believe in yourself.
mm-hmm.
It's the vision is clear, and the way why StrongBox is needed is also so clear to me. I mean, you need a way to not only move your assets, but also your important data, but just set up a redundant structure for yourself to feel good about what you own in the crypto ecosystem. But maybe we can dive a little bit deeper into exactly how StrongBox works and where Secret Network is used. And then after that, we can go into the Serenity Shield token and talk about some of the milestones you will be achieving over the upcoming period.
Sure.
So my question is that StrongBox is an application where you can store sensitive data, and this encryption which is used, these keys are in the end stored on Secret Network, or at least maybe not the keys specifically, but the access to these keys comes from, I thought as I read it somewhere, 3 different NFTs which you can have on Solana, but maybe even on Binance Smart Chain, and then these NFTs. 2 out of 3 are needed to gain access to the encryption keys and therefore gain access to the data inside the StrongBox. Is that a bit of a clear picture of how the application works? And do you have something?
That's exactly it. Yes, you nailed it. Really, what ends up happening after someone has created their StrongBox, the owner of the StrongBox receives 1 NFT. Right now that the NFTs are minted in Solana, but we're moving toward true interoperability where we'll be able to mint those to any chain of someone's choosing. It really will depend on like kind of what you want to pay in gas fees, depending on network congestion on whatever your favorite chain is. But that's neither here nor there because this is MVP. But the general idea is once you create the StrongBox, you receive a key, and that key interacts with the smart contract, which is hosted on Secret Network. That smart contract basically has the other part to the key, so that when you present your key to the smart contract, you can access the contents of your StrongBox, you can amend them, you can delete the StrongBox if you choose to, or go create more on your account. Your Air NFT is also in, I don't want to say limbo because it's not necessarily limbo, but it doesn't work to override the master owner NFT key until the inactivity period that you set on the StrongBox when you create it, when you are actually signing your contract with Serenity and Secret. You can decide to say 7 days of inactivity, 15 days, 1 month, 3 months, etc. If I don't interact with, say, push notifications that are going to come in through mobile in the final version of our product, or the emails that we have now with the PIN numbers, or even phone calls, if I decide I want to be actually reached out to by phone, then after 3 attempts, the smart contract will consider me dead, or at least incapacitated, or without internet access. And that even might mean, oops, I lost my keys to the wallet that interacts with this. But good thing I created a StrongBox and I actually assigned myself a backup wallet with the NFT to serve as my own Air. At which point the process restarts and the smart contract seeks interaction with the Air. And if they get it, then the Air's NFT is the one that ends up interacting positively with the NFT that is stored in the smart contract on Secret. Which is only a little bit deeper than how you explained it. Like, you nailed it. That's essentially it.
Yeah, I might have actually DM'd with you personally. I'm just
I think we did.
No. I mean, it's a really cool application, and I see it used in multiple ways. Like, people can decide to host their private keys there, which is maybe a step some people are not willing to do. But there's also the opportunity, which I personally am really excited about, is I intend to make a separate wallet, which will just be used to access two applications, which use Secret as well, which are called Alter and Jekyll. It's private storage and private communication. And the key to this wallet is still very important to me personally, because I want to make sure that I can always access my data I have stored on these two applications, and I can always make sure I can contact the same people and reach back through our messages. And it would be a great system, really, if I can store these on StrongBox. So I'll definitely use it for that.
Well, see, that right there is a bang up use case for this technology, and exactly what I'm talking about when I say community driven everything, where there are people in the audience that might be thinking this is a crypto only tool. It isn't. You can use this in any creative way that makes sense to serve you for the storage and access of your own data, whatever that purpose might be. And it's that exact point that opens up the StrongBox technology for mass adoption in a more commercial situation for traditional businesses like insurance companies or, attorneys or tech businesses that serve large clients and MSPs, and they want to be able to access Office 365 tokens from anywhere in the world. It's when you start to really look at what you can use this product for, it's pretty mind-blowing. And I always think about it like a blank piece of paper. Like, you get the notebook and you have the pen. What you do with it is up to you. And I really see that the StrongBox is that.
Yeah, there are a lot of opportunities. And I was quickly thinking about one more. I actually have a very redundant setup to make sure I can access all my accounts and I have YubiKeys and all that stuff. It's actually great. You can keep your entire backup in your home, maybe in a safe, or you can keep it somewhere else in a safe or on an encrypted USB drive. But you always need this one password to have access. And that password needs to be backed up. I think Serenity Shield is going to have some great applications for stuff like this, just to make sure you have a redundant setup. I guess Skrilla will quickly move on with another question he has to you guys.
Yeah, and I've got to say, I had chance to thanks, Ertemann. I've got to say, I had chance to test the MVP and make a StrongBox last night. It is looking so slick, guys. You can tell the amount of effort and work that's gone into that.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, actually, Skrilla, and I'm delighted to hear that you've enjoyed it so far, and we've got so much more to come. As the guys were just saying there, I mean, we're only scratching the surface at the moment of where we intend to take this, and yeah, the feedback that we're receiving just now is only going to serve for us to build upon what we have and use this as a foundation to go forward. And that community element is what's really is what makes us get up every morning, as Justin said, and keeps us proud and keeps us focused as to why we started this and keeps us on the path to achieving our overall goal.
Lovely stuff, lovely stuff. So we've got a token launch on the way. The Search token, that's SERSH. It's on your roadmap. Is it Q4 this year, or how's that all going to roll out?
I'll tell you a bit about probably that element for the token, because we can type the token, the roadmap if you like, and Justin can perhaps maybe elaborate on some of the utility and how that token is going to be used. But just very briefly, with regards to the token, we have a private sale coming up in October where people can get involved. Naturally, we had seed investment and early rounds way back at the start of the year, and our focus then turned to development of the MVP. And unlike a lot of other projects out there, one thing that we wanted to be clear about with ourselves internally was that we wanted to come to the market with a viable product that people could relate to, something that they can actually use in their day-to-day life, and not just a promise and not just an idea, which we've seen in so many blockchain projects. I've been an investor. I've bought into ideas that haven't worked out, and a lot of the time, the ideas are really, really good ideas. And then because of money not being available or finances not being able to back the project, and maybe not having the right people in place before they explored the idea, it doesn't materialise. We done everything in the reverse. What we've done is we've done a bit, because a lot of our team, we all come from traditional business sector, traditional corporate backgrounds, different parts of the world, completely diverse, and that collective demographic has helped us look at things a bit differently. When we took our existing skill sets and said to ourselves, look, for this to work, we have to do the business plan up front. And that business plan up front meant being very honest about where we were, what we didn't have, what we did have, and then using that to roll out a plan for the year. And one of the things that we've been very fortunate and we kind of pinch ourselves on this one regularly is that we're self-sustainable as a project. We managed to self-fund from day one to get us moving, and that was something that we were very proud that we could do, but we were in a position where we could also back what we intended to do and prove to others that this was something that was a passion project for us as well. As Justin said, it's not just some smash and grab money play for a project. It's actually here to do something different and really offer to the community a viable solution to a real world problem. So the token itself, the next round will happen in October. We haven't officially given the date, but I can say it will be in the first couple of weeks of October, more than likely, where people can get involved. The chance to get involved will be unfortunately fairly limited because private sale round 2, there is a smaller amount of tokens that will be on offer, but never fear, there will also be a public ICO later, which will come probably in Q1 of 2023, more than likely. We won't be doing anything before Christmas, I wouldn't imagine, with a token launch. And that way we will be well positioned to release the full version of the working StrongBox in the new year. And to help you understand why we have a token and the reason why that token is important, I'll hand you over to Justin. And if you want to elaborate, Justin, just on some of the utility there and how it works, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely. So the Search token is going to be at the center of the ecosystem for all our every one of the products and services that Serenity Shields creates and releases. And so the Search token is actually the form of payment you'll use to interact with our dApp. So you need to own Search to have a StrongBox. The fees that are associated with the yearly subscription for a StrongBox are paid in Search. We'll have an option at the end of the minting, which anybody who has tested the StrongBox has seen. There's a checkbox that allows you to prepay the inheritance for your heir. That's in Search tokens. And as a side note, the reason we did that was because, as Nico said, when we worked backwards from looking at a problem like what do we have and what do we need and where do we want to go, we realized a big thing about inheritance means, someone lost a loved one, right? And why would we ask somebody to come claim a StrongBox who might not even know what crypto is to try to then learn how to get local currency on chain, go through 5 or 6 different swaps, have the right wallets, learn what a dApp is, get through, and then pay to open up something that they don't understand. We really were thinking from an empathetic angle. Why don't we give the account owners the ability to leave that last headache out of the minds of their loved ones, in the unfortunate event of their death. So that's also paid in Search. And we are flirting with the idea of what it looks like as a governance token to become, fully in and out Web3. So you need a token to be able to do that. And we didn't want to just have a token sitting around until the day we decided to pull the trigger on a DAO. We always want to have everything that we do have utility and purpose. So that's where the Search token sits now. And it will just continue to gain value as it's more and more used as like a key, basically at the center of everything that we do as a company and ecosystem and community moving forward.
Awesome stuff. Can I just ask you if the token will be launched on Secret and Solana, or just one of those?
So, Nikos, you want to hit that, or is this me?
Well, I'll just briefly. I want to touch on this Solana thing because I heard Solana mentioned earlier on, and I think it's very important that we clear up right now that we're not a Solana project. We utilised Solana in the earlier part of the year to facilitate the private sale and the kind of transference of the smart contract for the tokens. However, we are chain agnostic. We will be a completely cross-chain project, taking advantage of the CCIP stuff. And as such, we want to try and start moving ourselves away from this notion that we are based on Solana only. I think this came up quite a few times. So just one of the things that to be clear that one of the reasons we want that more than anything is we want to remove as many barriers to entry to be able to utilize the StrongBox and the token that is required to unlock that box and utilize and pay for the subscription. And to do that, we have to then be available on as many networks and blockchains as possible. But the actual solution itself will be on secret, as we described earlier on. The token will then be tradable across various platforms and various networks. And that way, it gives people the chance to enter from more traditional wallet structures that they might not be familiar with, some of the kind of wallets that govern the spaces that we're residing in at the moment within the privacy realm, because it's there's a bit of a barrier to entry for a lot of these people, and we want to try and bring that barrier down and be educators in the space that can help them solve that problem, and also make them aware of privacy and make them aware of the Web3 solution that we're coming up with as a viable way to do what it has to do. A lot of people right now, as you guys will be well aware, even more so than us, one of the biggest challenges that we all face is educating people on what we mean by privacy and data protection and data storage. So for us, as part of that is actually moving that back that gets them to the solution in the first place. So the privacy round 2, for that reason, we will not be doing anything out with stablecoin. So anyone that wants to participate will be able to do so via a few different networks, and it will only be able to be done via BUSD, USD, or USDC. And that way, we're sort of making a statement that we're moving away from this notion that we're just a Solana-only project, because we received a lot of questions about that since day one. And really, to be honest, the only reason we utilised Solana in the early stages was due to the kind of low-cost transaction fees for our users, avoided gas fees for them, and obviously tied in with a philosophy that we want our whole solution from top to bottom to be as affordable and easy to access as possible.
Yeah, so the Surge token will be available on multiple networks. Maybe one quick question: where is it native? Like, what is the native location of the Surge token going to be?
So to start, it is a Solana SPL token, yeah. But our goal is full interoperability, but it'll be in steps and stages, similar to the way that we built the company from the ground up. And as Nico said earlier, we took our time to make sure we had everything in place before we even started raising funds, and then we became self-sufficient on the fund raise, so that it gave us the freedom to actually put our time into developing what the product is going to be. So, true to that same arc, we're going to take that that approach to everything that we do. So, starting with Solana, but then we're going to branch out into the BSC and the ETH world, and then keep going. And really, our goal is to have interoperability with every layer 1 blockchain. I believe we have the team here to create those partnerships, and we've already started. And frankly, it's going to be a bit of a snowball. I think it's a little bit different than the typical, like Nikos was saying, smash and grab and screaming all over decks and getting PooCoin ads. Like, that's not. We are so far from that. It's polar opposite.
Really trying to provide a solution to every single layer 1 which needed, which is great. And in the end, you have to choose, of course, a native, the first network to deploy, but it doesn't mean it will be the only one. So
exactly,
using to achieve that journey, and I think it makes a lot of sense to have a connection with a chain that is IBC enabled and so close to interoperability and privacy as a service for many other layer 1s. So I'm sure you're going to achieve that goal of providing StrongBox on every layer 1 and having your token there as well. And maybe as a quick side note, I know there is a grant out to make a Solana bridge. So I wouldn't be too unhappy if you intend to get that bridge going and really make your token interoperable.
Well, we're going to probably have to talk to our devs about that one.
Where to find our network core devs in the grant program. Anyway, maybe we should move on to the next question. I think it's clear what StrongBox is providing and where you are right now in your roadmap. I mean, it's an MVP, but the launch is quickly around the corner. You said the token is coming as well. What other things are on the roadmap, and what do you see as the biggest achievements so far, and which are the biggest things coming up on that roadmap?
Well, I think to start in terms of biggest achievements, I think we have to acknowledge, and we have spoken about this at length, but we have to acknowledge the MVP delivery in August, which was even out with our initial expectations and ambitions. We worked tirelessly over the summer to make that happen. That was something we really have to be very proud of, and it wasn't without stresses or tired nights and sleepless nights. But you know what, we worked together as a team, and we certainly we pulled together. There was hurdles along the way that we had to navigate, and we got there to that point in August, which was something to be really, really proud of. I think along the way as well, just actually the way we've actually structured the rollout of the roadmap itself, just made sure that we're taking the time to focus on hitting each target. If you were to visit our website, the serenityshield.io, you'll notice there's a live roadmap on there at the moment, and you can see a lot of what we have achieved in the first 1, 2, and 3 quarters of this year, and what we plan to do moving forward. And a lot of what we've done in the earlier part of the year is setting up the structure of the Serenity Shield project and defining all of the foundational elements that have shaped our branding, our thought process. Also alignment with partners that could help and have helped with legal, and also with marketing partners that have helped deliver our message and make sure that we are communicating in the best way we possibly can. So aligning ourselves with kind of key industry experts has been certainly a big part of our journey, and this helped us with several milestones along that way. Moving forward, there's obviously a lot of things we're planning to work on for the coming year. We've talked about the private sales this month very in the immediate term. In the longer term, we'll have the ICO and the launch of the Search token before the full release of the first working version of the StrongBox. But I think going beyond that, I'm going to ask Justin maybe to come in here, because this is something I know he's massively proud of. I wouldn't say proud, he's massively excited about and passionate about. Is I'm not going to say it, Justin. I think you know what I'm talking about. Let's see if you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, there's so many freaking things, so you might have to give me the first letter.
What's the one thing that you love most about how we might unlock in the future?
What?
How do we plan to unlock the box in the future?
Oh my god! Complete biometrics. Like, can I tell the whole story real quick? Like,
why not? Why not?
All right. Okay. All right.
Go ahead. It will only be recorded and available forever. But
we love Alpha.
Yeah. All right. So I guess no, you can't. I don't even know.
Look, I'll tell you what. Why don't we caveat it with it's an aspiration in the moment, and at the moment it's something that we are in talks about, and obviously when the technology allows, it would be something that we want to implement.
Yeah. So the way that it would essentially operate is a big tenet of what we want to do here is not give any end user information that they can accidentally hand over to a malicious actor, right? So what is that? That's a seed phrase. And if you're talking about backing up seed phrases or, whatever kind of data you want in the StrongBox, well, you don't really want to have to necessarily write down a new seed phrase to protect the seed phrases that you were just backing up. That seems like that's kind of a cycle that will never end. So really what we would love to see as an implementation through our partnership with Uniris to do full biometrics with all interactions with the dApp. So my fingerprint down to the pulse and temperature of my blood is what's going to let me interact with the dApp. So, if somebody wanted to cut my fingers off and try to open the wallet, they couldn't. If somebody had you held up and just a stressful situation, maybe like literally a gun to your face saying, open up this box and give me everything inside, it won't work because your blood pressure will be off. The temperature and moisture in your skin won't be correct. Really, this is what we see as the evolution of moving away from, well, I mean, look at this. Anybody who's been in the space for a while, you've gone fully from paper wallets to software to hardware wallets. What about none? What about no keys, right? What about you alone not only own your data and the full agency over what you do in it, but you are the key, right? It's just, that's, oh man, I'm doing cartwheels in my head and just like hanging out with you guys all here right now, freaking out a little bit. But yeah, that's essentially it. Sorry, Nikos, I didn't know.
Wow.
When you brought it up, I was like, are we going here?
Oh, why
doing
not?
This?
Listen, why not? I've not got a StrongBox yet because we're not there. So if anything happens to me tomorrow, I would regret never having left that message.
Oh, anyway, so that's basically everything you guys need to know about what we're up to right now.
I'm just sitting here with my mouth wide open, like, yeah, awesome stuff, guys. That is a true evolution in biometrics. If you manage to get that going, and one of my burning questions was like, yeah, what happens if someone puts you under duress with one of these strong boxes? Can they get access to it? So yeah.
So yeah,
just
do a bit of name dropper here then, just to
do it, yeah.
Yeah, check out the Unitas team and check out what they've got going on as part of Architect. I can send you a link, Skrilla, privately. You can have a look at their white paper and what they're doing. But those guys, as far as I'm aware, they're going to be the official provider for biometric solutions for the Olympic Games as well. So pretty advanced stuff and a cool team. As I say, that's a long way off and it's an aspiration at the moment. But it's always good to get excited and show. I think we just want to show an insight as to where our mind is at. It's not just the case about delivering a StrongBox and then tick box, we're done, finished.
Exactly.
I personally, and I know a lot of the other guys in the team are the same. Life's pretty boring if you're not doing something. I'm not really driven by material things. I'm not really driven by much out with creative endeavours. And that's me personally, and I know a lot of us are the same. And connecting with like-minded people and just having fun in life and learning to do stuff and deliver something and give something back, that's something to be proud of and something to look forward to. So you need to dream and you need to have goals in life. We all have to do that. We all have to define something for ourselves that gives us a purpose out with, you know what, I want to make X amount by Y year. I mean, that how dull an existence is that? We live in a really exciting, big, open world. Like, so let's use it and do it well and actually use it to help one another and actually genuinely bring each other together. This is a truly revolutionary period of time that we live in, and that message of digital rights, you'll hear us talking about it all the time. You'll hear it. I mean, we truly, genuinely believe in helping as many people as possible and targeting as many people as possible through education and message to say to them, look, there is a different way to do things. And it's back to the point I said 30 minutes ago. What we're creating here is a choice, and giving someone a choice is all we can do. Taking away from the system that has impaled our mind for so long with giving us no choice. Well, let's let the people take the power back, and that's what it's all about. And that might not win a lot of favour with other people, but that is what we stand for at Serenity Shield. That's our values, and that's what we believe. So ultimately, I hope that resonates with a lot of people.
Yep. Also, my team is like our team, really. We're all on Slack and we're basically going crazy in the communication channel. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, to bring it back to crypto, because that's where we are right now for one quick second, that Search tokens will have staking capabilities that will be announced around the time that we're talking about private sale round 2 as well.
Nice. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the target audience and how do you plan to involve them in your community and eventually the DAO?
Can you repeat that question? Sorry, Skrilla, I just lost you for a second.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So, who's the target audience for Serenity Shield? It's dApps, and how do you plan to involve your users in your community and eventually the DAO?
Well, I'll start with the first part, and then maybe if Justin, you want to talk about the DAO potentially as well. I think targeting an audience is actually something that's very, very important. We could look at it from a very simplistic point of view and say there's over 300 million active crypto wallets in the world at the moment, and that's set to grow to anything up to 1 billion by 2025 by some projections. Therefore, anyone with a wallet is our audience. That would be a bit greedy. It would be a bit careless. It wouldn't really make sense. For us, it's about first and foremost starting by adding value to the crypto community, like we spoke about, and trying to somehow transform the digital landscape. And I think to do that with others that think the same way, we've already had conversations with some of your friends, guys like Shade Protocol, CNN Network. We've never managed to have a conversation yet with Polymer, but there's so much out there with people doing great things. And I think that first and foremost, making the place better, safer, and more accessible is a place to start. If we can then become a voice within that realm, and continue to strive for those digital rights access and raise awareness for data privacy and security issues, we will then naturally create an audience that will follow our message. So I think the crypto community is only going to get bigger. I mean, there's such a small number in the grand scheme of things that I wouldn't ever like to see a target audience as an age or a demographic from time, like a millennial or a Generation Z or something like that. It's not really a viable way to look at it. I think it's people that need our help, want our help, and actually have a real desire to participate in data privacy solutions and cybersecurity solutions. That would be who the door is open to. The door is essentially open to anyone, but we really are looking to work with people that buy into our philosophy, that we can use blockchain to have better lives collectively. And that would be a target audience group that's a fairly, I think you're looking at a fairly educated user, but it is a technical solution, and there will be that education element where it's up to us to become thought leaders within the space and position ourselves in a way that can be more than just a product that keeps your seed phrase safe. It's an ongoing process to be dynamic and help people through the door by showing them that there are data breaches happening in their life every day. Their information is not private. If something happens to them, they have no digital succession plan. What do they do? Those people don't exist yet. That is my honest opinion on it. I think that we here today that are in this room and the people that reside within data privacy spaces and all the rest of it, we know we are a minority, but the world is going to need people like us more and more and more, because the world is changing at a fast-paced rate. And unfortunately, inequality is seeping into all facets of life. So one constant could be this space, and I think that could be a target audience that we should all aspire to. Secret Network, Polymer, Shade, you name it, Cosmos, all of these intra-related products and services within that space. That is how we together win, and we show the world that this can be something that they can relate to and use in their life. That probably takes us on to the DAO element, Justin, rather than everyone hearing my voice the whole time.
It's all good. Yeah.
If you want to elaborate on some of the long-term plans for a DAO and what that might mean. Again, aspirational stuff at the moment, but it's quite good to get excited about.
Right. And everything that we do here, we make sure that we do it with the option for future growth and to remain dynamic, as Nico said. So really, to bring it back to the purpose of the token and why do we have it? It's not just a moon play. We eventually want people to be able to have a say and a vote and an actual voice in where this goes, because if we're talking about interoperability with all layer ones, that's the entire space, right? We don't want to just be this one big company that preaches something and practices something else. There's no real urge from anybody on our team to be the central voice or the one true leader of what Serenity Shield is or whatever. We're just one tool in a tool chest of people to express themselves through data security and privacy, right? And we're choosing to align ourselves with the layer one blockchains that also share that ideal, because it is a true marriage between practicing what one preaches. So the DAO comes on the heels of that as we mature as a company. And I mean, as a side note, we're completely international. We have French, Japanese, Chinese developers. We've got people in Scotland, the UK, America, like the United States, all India, everywhere. We are so spread out across so many different time zones and so many approaches to cultural norms, which I think gives us a huge advantage already as a smaller team about what people can expect or deserve out of a product in the Web3 space, and what kind of ideals we're seeking to protect and speak to and have validated by our users. We have a pretty wide swath of personal experience, right? So that we can use that to our advantage. Now multiply that out as a true DAO. That's where we want to go.
The aspirations are here. A true DAO in the end is always the goal, and yeah, it's cool to see where you guys want to move, and let's keep in touch. See how that process is going and what the community can do, and maybe we can finish it up here by asking our last question, which would be, how can we get involved? What can agents do to help you guys, but also to get familiar with the product? Can we support the team in any way by maybe delegating somewhere or doing something? Like, let us know. What can we do?
Yeah. So it's already, yeah, I can't even, you've been amazing so far. Sorry, Nikos, I'm freaking out. You want to take it?
No, go on, you go, mate.
Just that the support we've already got from secret agents and you guys has been above and beyond what I ever expected. It's been humbling for our whole team to be accepted into your world, right? And be given the trust for the responsibility to carry on the shared ideals is like, it's wild. And it's worth really mentioning how appreciative we are of that. And anybody who's interested in getting involved in what we're doing, I mean, come over to our Discord or our Telegram, join, introduce yourself, ask any questions that you have. The closed beta we have out right now with about 100 secret testers is like an exclusive closed beta for round one, but round two, we're going to open up for applications again. And the best way to find information on that is through our Twitter, our Discord, and our Telegram. And we'll do it the same way we did this last round. We rolled out for applications. We received several thousand, and we read what people had for feedback in terms of past experience in testing. And then we basically picked who we thought would be the best candidates to give us critical feedback that, you know, held no punches and allowed us to bring forward a second iteration of our current beta product that is reflective of our ability to listen to criticism and make changes when changes need to be made. So that's one part and one way. The next way is October 10th, we're going to have a private sale round two of 1 million Surge tokens, and that will be open to anybody. There's a minimum $400 spend for that round, but there's no whitelist, so it's first come, first serve. And there'll be plenty of announcements leading up to that date for everybody to make sure that they're well informed, add stuff to their calendar. And again, I always invite people to come into the Discord or the Telegram and get involved, ask questions. No question's a stupid question. And I don't know if I mentioned it before now at the top of the call. It's been like an adrenaline rush, but we at Serenity Shield are students of the space just like anybody else. And we use our varied backgrounds and our diverse experience with the world to help each other learn and grow. And every single person in the secret community that wants to get involved with Serenity can do it by coming and sharing your experience with the space, with your everyday life, things that the traditional systems of anything, financial, governmental, whatever, have failed you. Safe space to talk about that, see how we can build up a Web3 in a better way that's more inclusive for everybody that uses blockchain, everybody on the internet, really. People. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here. I'll quickly get on Skrilla one more time, see if he still has some some last bits to share with us. I want to quickly open the floor for any questions. If there are still any questions by the community who are out there, feel free to raise your hand. I'll wait like a small 20 to 30 seconds. Try to get you on. If I don't see any hands come up, then we will just end it here. So let's give it a bit and see if there's any last questions. I think everyone has been very pleased with what has been shared by you, Nikos and Justin. Thank you very much for being here.
Absolute pleasure. And it's the start of the digital rights revolution. Let's do it together, all the projects, and stick together, because that's what blockchain's for. And let's empower ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, blockchain in and of the definition being built on the chain block by block. I mean, that's how we're going to do this. There's not going to be one shining star. Otherwise, we'd be back in a centralized system. And what's the point?
I think we all share exactly the same vision. Let's make sure we keep our privacy. Only that way we can express ourselves. I want to thank you all very much for being here. As the agents always say, onwards and upwards. The MVP is out. Go test it. This was the Agents of the Roundtable. We are here every Thursday at 5 p.m. UTC. Next week we have a new guest coming on. It's a very enthusiastic moment as well. I think it will be cool to speak with them. So let's wait for that announcement. Hope to see you all next week. And till then, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and even Pocket Cast. So see you there. And thank you very much for being here.
Take it easy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening in on the Agents of the Roundtable Community AMA. Follow us on Twitter at secret_AOTRT and every Monday at 7 p.m. UTC in the Secret Network Discord.